Welcome back to Plug In 10 Questions. It's Mr. J. I'm here very special evening. You know, we got our first lady in the house, and this is going to be good because someone told me I got too much testosterone on the show. And so just because it's rap related doesn't mean that we can't speak with women and listen to the women. So it's all good. Now, before we get started, just want to remind you that the album is still available. We're having a good time online, mrj.bandcamp.com, and all streaming platforms. You can go get that for yourself, clean version or the slightly dirty version, whichever you prefer. So, this evening we're hanging out with Kelly Eaglin, and she's going to share her insights on just everything right now because we got a lot going on. Sports trying to start back up. Musicians are trying to make their coins however they can do it. Schools are set to reopen. We got an election. That's many elections coming up, several. And so, we just want to, hear from her and her insight on all of these current events. So how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
Doing good. I can't
Good.
complain. Trying to stay healthy.
I think we are. I think we are. You mentioned everybody's trying to get back to business, and that's what we want. We want business as usual, but unfortunately, it won't be usual. I think everybody has a new plan to reopen in business. So we can't say getting back to business as usual. It's now business anew. So,
True. True. You're right about that. So before we even jump in, big congratulations. We heard that you're a graduate of a master's graduate school graduate, and so
thank you very much.
yeah, you're welcome. That's a big deal. So number
Yes,
two, right?
yes. I have
Okay.
my master's in public administration now, and yes, it is a big deal because it was a lot of hard work, but it was worthy. It was worth it.
Yeah. It feels like when you get that degree in super duper adult life. When we
Hmm.
say that, when you got children and jobs and all of that, and you're going to school,
Yes,
it feels sweeter.
yes,
And
yes.
so, yeah,
I think it adds to the accomplishments in life. When you are, it's funny because we kind of rushed out when we graduated from high school, go to college, and get an education. Well, most of us at 18 years old have no idea what we want to do. So whatever may be the hot thing at that moment, we're going to major in it. And then 4 years later, we have no job. So, then you find yourself, okay, well, what am I going to do now? I remember speaking with a career counselor one time, and she said, the average person doesn't find their calling in life until they're 40 years old.
wow.
And when you think about it, by the time you're 40, the things that you have done in life, the things you've experienced, you kind of develop, and you find out who you really are. So for me, that makes sense, and I don't mind saying my age. I'm 44 years old, and you know, I think it was about at the age of maybe 38. Well, I really and truly knew what I wanted to do and what I wanted to do in life. So it made sense. I raised a daughter. I'm a single mother. Um, Another proud accomplishment. She has graduated from high school and she's now a sophomore at Xavier University in New Orleans. So getting this master's degree is just, it just makes me feel really accomplished because at 44, I think I've done some really great things, you know.
Yeah. Well, and also I think being a graduate or being in school, studying while you're doing everything else and being a parent is inspirational. It could be a motivational force to your own children.
Yeah,
And so
you're right.
that makes it that much sweeter.
Yeah, and because parents have to understand your children see you, and when they say that children are sponges, there's no lie about that. They soak up everything they see, and it starts right there in the home. And if they see you working hard and and not just working hard, but you're working hard like you're gaining something from it. Because if children see you complaining and just, oh my God, I hate my job, or you're gonna give them a falsehood about life, you
Right.
know, and you don't want them to develop that. So, and I tell people all the time, we have to be mindful of things that we say to our children. It is really hard to do that. I say that, but I know it's hard because when you're dealing with the pressures of your world, and then you come home and you're dealing with your child in your child's world, because you have to understand they have their pressures too. The only difference is your child only has to deal with their pressures, but you have to deal with yours and theirs. So at some point, you have to find your balance in being able to be cool and collective to be able to deal with their pressures. But other than, because sometimes their pressures will wear you out, it will
Definitely.
stress you, and you'll be ready to blow your top, you know. And they do things, and sometimes you have to step back and go, wait a minute, they're kids, they're growing, they're learning. So it's my job to show them how to just be an adult and handle it. So yeah, you're
Great
right. So
answer.
yeah,
So, the cool part about this episode, this is actually our unofficial back to school episode too.
yes,
And
mm-hmm.
so, I don't know if everybody knows, but not only you're a parent and you are doing everything that you can do that's positive, you also have an important position in the school system in Baton Rouge.
Yes,
And so, I do want to shine some light on that because oftentimes, um, executive secretary, correct?
yes, that's right.
And
Yes,
people don't understand the many things that you all have to do to actually make the school run.
mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
can you just kind of share some of the tasks that you normally do, um, during school, outside of school, that keeps your school afloat?
Yes. Well, first off, being an executive secretary, we are 12-month employees, so we work year round. Um, Everyone thinks that once school's over in May, it shuts down. It doesn't. We run continuously because our job is a continuous thing. Because we start, the fiscal year begins July 1 and it ends in June. So when we're closing school off in May, well, I'm closing the whole entire year off and preparing for the new year. So that's one thing, you know. So we support the business side, the human resource side. We are the money people. We take care of it all. Um, and then aside from that, they're the children. Because in my position, I work with my staff. I'm also responsible for my front office. So I deal with parents, I deal with students. So by having those interactions with them, um, I deal with them on personal levels as well. And I'm gonna tell you, it's a very satisfying job, especially when you see children and you see that the children are affected by the things you do. You know, I will say that I think that's one of the biggest things that I will miss about this school year starting off, is the children not being there. But again, as an executive secretary, we're, and I don't want to seem like I'm speaking too high of my position, but we're like the backbone, you know. Um, our role is needed to support everybody in that building. So there's a lot of work, and I'm not done by 3 o'clock. Everyone else is out by
No.
2:45. I'm still there. Sometimes I'm there till 6 o'clock in the evening. But it's a very important role, and it's a lot of great outcomes from our position.
Definitely. I mean, being in the inside and being in the business for as long as I've been in education at this point, I get it. I got
Mhm.
the utmost respect for the secretaries, just because I know y'all help me get paid. And so, the days I forgot to sign or put the right information on
Mhm.
my sheets, then
Yeah,
somebody got to look out for it. Or
that's right.
if it doesn't happen, then I just don't get paid that week. So
Right.
um
Right.
salute
And
you.
we're the ones that hurt and get that check to you if something happens. We're the ones. that can make it happen when we can get it, because everyone gets paid direct deposit in the school system, but we're that one person. If something goes wrong with your paycheck, you didn't get it, guess what? I can get you a paycheck, an actual paper check to get you taken care of. So uh, I had one gentleman who came to the school, and then when I told him I was the executive secretary, because he thought I was the principal, and I said, no, I'm the executive secretary. He said, oh no. He said, you run the school. You guys run the school. And I mean, we are a major component of the team. So yes.
Definitely. And like you say, some days if the principal is away or if administration is down, then
I'm
they
there.
look to you for support. And so
Yeah.
it's a huge job. Um,
Yeah.
you know, just keep doing the great work that you do. We
I
appreciate it.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
And so the word for the day is mindfulness. I was in a meeting this morning, and
Mm-hmm.
that word came to mind because apparently it's been in many floating around in many different circles because of all
Mm-hmm.
the events that's going on. And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, as educators and people in the school system who got to make this thing run, we have to make sure that we're mindful of, um, just being in the moment and being focused in the moment at hand.
Right.
And so, and saying that, I do want to just kind of ask you, like, how do you feel about the current state of, I say, public education during this whole COVID crisis? Um, any thoughts or feelings? I mean, it's after hours, so we could be real on the show.
And even if it was regular hours, I still would be real with you. And I
Okay.
tell you, that is one thing that and my principal knows this. Those who know me know this. I'm not gonna bite my tongue, because in the grand scheme of this all, and it's funny, the word mindfulness is the word people, everybody. I don't care if you're a teacher, I don't care if you're a student or an administrator or auxiliary employee, is the auxiliary employee. Everyone is important in this whole situation. Everyone. And my thoughts on this, and there's a misconception that we don't want the kids to come back because we don't want them to, and or we're being selfish and thinking about our own feelings. No, we're being mindful. You know, we love those children. We can't wait to have them back in the building. But we're mindful of the fact that we're dealing with a situation where a virus that we have no idea of what it can cause, what it can do to a person. It's possible to be deadly to some, and it can probably be something that's just like a 2 week get over. But we need to be mindful of everyone's health. Everyone. My feeling about the reopening of schools is the fact that we have people in place making decisions who are not in those classrooms. We have people who are, um, we have school board members. We have people who are members of Louisiana Department of Education. We have city council. Um, all these people are people who are not in the classrooms every day. You know, they asked us a few weeks ago before the Bessie board meeting. They wanted us to email and let Bessie know how we felt. I let them know. And since we're being 100% clear, I told them, I think it is wrong that people who are not in the classrooms make the decision on how teachers and students should be returning to school. And if you read the plan, it's not a plan. You know, it doesn't have any kind of preparation for our safety. There's nothing considered in it in regards to possibility of fire alarms, school shootings, all the things, the real things that we deal with on the daily. None of that's addressed. And these are the things that happen every day. But if you're in the schools and you know how these schools go, then that would be in mind. The other issue that I have with it are children's behaviors. Now, I don't know what school has a situation where the children do exactly what they're supposed to do. I don't
Mhm.
know. I really and truly don't know any school like that. And then when you think about the mindset of these kids, what do you think they're going to do when they get to a school that they have and see their friends that they haven't seen in months? Do you honestly think they're going to social distance?
Mask on. Mask on.
Right, right. They're gonna be masking coming down, or if somebody's kid, their parents bought them a nice fan because these masks are really decorative. I mean, they're coming out with some pretty fabulous masks. What's the first thing you want to do? Oh, I want to see your mask, and then the mask off, and it's next, to the next
Right.
kid. So
My
it's like,
sequin came off. I can't wear it anymore.
it's so many little things. And when you're dealing with children, you have to pay attention to detail. And this plan is not paying attention to detail. And a child's behavior is a detail that is not being considered. Their whole thing is, well, when you tell a child to do, I'm sorry. First of all, we're talking about children in East Baton Rouge Parish School District. And I hear this as a common thing across the board. You can't get these kids to keep their pants pulled up and their shirts tucked in, but you want them to keep a mask on. It's not, it's things like that they're not considering. You know, it's to me, I think it's a whole lot better if we just go virtual. There are some challenges, but again, had we addressed this and just went on ahead and made up our mind back at the beginning of July and said, okay, well, let's go ahead and just be virtual because we still are uncertain about this virus. Let's be virtual. And let's just take this whole month. And guess what we could have done? We could have been preparing parents. We could have been preparing children, teachers, finding out the children who don't have Chromebooks or who need, help with Chromebooks, getting assistance with Wi-Fi. Those all are the things we could have been addressing in this month of July instead of playing this tit for tat and sending out surveys trying to figure out how people. This is where leadership is important. If we had a strong leader would have came out and said, okay, we're dealing with a virus that is uncertain. We do not need to risk our people, not our students, teachers, or our people. That's everybody. So let's just shut down, be virtual. Let's take this time to get ready for it. So that way, if something happens come October, the numbers come down, we can roll back into school. Or better
Right.
yet, let's just go out through December. It's a simple fix, but too much politics involved in it.
Mm, that P word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, politics. You know how I feel about politics.
I know. I mean, let's go. Let's go. So you got the masters in public administration, and
hmm
you got some law school experience and all that
hmm
good stuff. So
Yeah.
when we start talking about politics, policies, and um, changes with the
hmm
law, where do you fit in with all of that? Like, because now you're talking about you know what your calling is, and where you want to go and what you want to do. So
hmm
what does Miss Kelly Eaglin think about those issues? There's a lot of issues to be tackled.
Yeah.
We need
It
smart
is.
people like you who got their feet on the ground and their eyes open to
Yeah.
help make those changes.
Well, so honestly, my goal for going into public administration was to give me a little more background on understanding policy more. And I already had a good idea of it, but understanding policy more and also making sure that I had the qualities that were needed for leadership. And, one of the things that I did learn and attain from my degree, um, all the things that make a great leader. And, but beyond that, I really and truly wanted to go work for Homeland Security. I wanted to be in crisis communication. So this whole situation, this whole pandemic, has done nothing but make my skin crawl at how we are lacking the leadership we need to get through this. You know, um, but what happens is, now you say politics and policy. They're actually two different things. So, policies, the policies are made to to govern communities, schools, etc. We have policy in everything we do, everything.
Right.
But politics is a game that is played to show people how much power you have, and too much politics was being done. You know, in the beginning, when this virus was first brought about, have we had a president who decided to say, "Oh, this is an issue we need to look into," but instead he was more concerned about his campaign and re-election, and this was nothing more than a virus that's created by the Democrats to make him lose. We had too much time that was lost, that had we been a leader, that we possibly would not be well. You know, um, if we had a leader who stepped up and said, "Okay, as a nation, collectively, we need to shut down." Politics interfere so much with the things that we need to do. Um, it's almost like, and it's probably an odd comparison, but it's almost like Christianity. Um, we're more focused on our religion than our Christianity.
Right.
Everyone's concerned about being Catholic or
Right.
Baptist,
Church back
whatever.
then.
Right. But the main thing is Christianity. Well, same goes with politics. All politicians that run for office all say the same thing. Well, it's all about the politics. But policy is always lost sometimes when you have certain people who are more concerned about their being a politician instead of being a leader. So,
Definitely.
yeah. And that's what we're lacking right now. As a nation, we're lacking, a leader. Um, you know, for our state, John Bell, I voted for him both times. And I just need him to understand you got to do what's best for Louisiana. And remember the people who voted you in, because you have to protect us. We voted you in to protect us. And we need you to not let Trump, who told you, I'm going to leave it up to the governors to take care of their own states, then take care of your state. Don't be afraid. You are our leader. You are who we voted for you. So don't worry about the politics. Worry about your people and take care of us. And then when you talk more locally, East Baton Rouge Parish, don't be afraid. The mayor, I'm glad she came out with her mask mandate, because me, I'm a mask warrior. Hey, you don't have your mask on, I'm gonna call you out on it. But I've gotten to the point right now where I said, you know what, people are gonna do whatever they want to do, and they're gonna be responsible for themselves. But I will say that if you have a hard time for just 15 to 30 minutes to wear a mask for the respect of other people's lives, I have to question you as a person. You know, it's just out of respect. And not only that, when you're wearing a mask, you're not just protecting yourself. I mean, you're protecting everybody, your children, your parents, your loved ones. But I'm proud that the mayor stood up and she put that mask mandate out and said, "Hey, you got to wear a mask." And she did that before the governor put it out.
Yeah.
So, but as I get closer locally and bringing it back onto schools, we're in a position where the people who have been elected in these school board seats, it's just a title. It is just a title. And all they care about is how good they look in a photo op. And it's for someone who has worked in the school system. And again, as I sit there and watch them as they roll up to our school for our function, I don't see you all year. I don't see you for nothing else. But because we have this function and you heard that such and such person's going to be here, you done popped up for a picture. But you have no idea what goes on in school because you're not here. But yet we're supposed to trust you to make good decisions for our school.
Yes.
But we don't elect the right people. I know, Aubrey, we encourage people and we keep telling young people and reminding everybody, hey, vote, 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 vote. That's one battle. The other battle is having candidates that are worth voting for. And it's, I don't know about you, but I'm so sick and tired of being in positions where I have to vote for the lesser of two evils.
Right. I don't like any of them, and
Right.
it's it's horrible. It is
And
horrible.
that has been, that's what our school district is. And I'm going to say it. And again, I don't care if they have a problem with it. I'm at Brookstown Middle School. Hey, my name is Kelly Eaglin. Come find me. But I believe in calling people out on it. You have been voted in a position. You know, people are trusting you to vote for them because they know they voted for you to be their voice. And you're not being their voices. So, I don't have a problem with calling people out because guess what? I'm going to be the voice for the children in my school because the people who have been elected to protect them are not protecting them. So I'm going to open my mouth and I'm going to say what I have to say, regardless if people like it or not. But those kids are my first priority, and that's what I care about. I respect those children the same way as I respect my own daughter. And they know that. Oh, they know Miss E. They know Miss E. Miss E talks to them the same way that she talks to her daughter. And I get on them about stuff because they're our responsibility. When we take these jobs on, and I don't care what role you have in a school system, you took that position for the betterment of that school. And it's your job to wholeheartedly do that job. So yeah, so now we have people that are running for positions only because, well, it's a name game. You know what reminds me of politics here, especially in East Baton Rouge Parish? It's like high school elections.
Mm.
That is what it reminds me of.
Let me give you some candy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Bring your donuts tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes. And then they're gonna come sit in your church two Sundays prior to election so that their face can be seen. And it's like, God, and people are so easily bought by that, and then we end up with candidates that's not worth anything, like our current school board system now.
I'll tell you, you hit it all on the head. Like I put it in the rap, but you just said it, you know, live, just in plain English. Because
Yeah.
I did say something about, sitting on the front row, the politicians sitting on the front row of Sunday service, but that's
Hmm.
really what they do, and I don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the point where, when the last time you've been here? Why are you
Exactly.
now? Let's just be
Exactly.
honest. Let's not do this.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what's going on. And so that leads me to my next question, which is, well, it's might be twofold, because I asked this to Marcel P. Black last month. And so, he's a man, he's a pro-black rap artist, and he's unapologetic with what he says, which is a lot of truth, and I love it. But you know we were discussing, what role do you think the female vote is going to play in the 2020 presidential election? And so it's layers to this,
Yeah.
because we've talked before, but now we're here.
Yeah.
And so, can you tell me how you feel about that, since you are a woman?
Well, of course, her vote is extremely important. Um, because honestly, when women vote, we're not voting just for our rights; we vote for all. We tend to, and I'm not discounting what men do, and
No,
I'm
no.
only, but as a woman, I know that when we vote for policies and for the changes that are needed, we're making sure those changes are for everyone. You know, of course, we all want to make sure that we're getting the rights, that our rights are protected, and that we're getting all that we deserve that's equal to us. But at the same time, we want to make sure that the men in our communities, we want to protect them too. So we tend to be voters that are voting for our community. It's that motherly thing in us. We want to make sure that we're taking care of everybody. And I think that's why a woman's vote is important, you know, because our focus tends to be, yeah, we are emotional creatures. Even I can be emotional sometimes, but um, that emotion is because we care for everybody, you know,
Right.
and we want what's fair for all. So that right there, I think, is the most important thing
So,
about a woman's voice.
all right. So let me interject. And
Mhm.
so, what's fair for all, but we got some candidates, because I don't believe in giving shout outs if you don't deserve it. We got
Right.
some candidates who are not for all. They
Yeah.
hadn't been for all the
Mhm.
whole time.
Yeah.
But you have some female voters who support the foolishness. And
Well, I'm a.
so, how no, it's cool.
Mhm.
How detrimental do you think this is gonna be, or how close is it gonna be? Because I feel like, you know, y'all voted for this candidate the first time,
Mhm.
and he's proven everything he said he was gonna do. He tried, or
Mhm.
he's walking in it.
Right.
So if you're okay with that, like, what are you really trying to preserve the family structure? Do you really care about everybody? Or are you just trying to, put on for
Well,
the tradition?
again, and that's a good point. It's a valid point, and this is something I was speaking with a law school buddy of mine. You know, the demographic of a certain person's supporters. You have those women, and I'm not going to make this a race thing, but there are some women who will tend to vote for how the man votes. I think a lot of that has to do with how they were brought up. You know, there are some women who their whole entire life has been, well, daddy has said this and daddy has said that, and daddy, and all the
Daddy
while,
been wrong.
right,
Right.
daddy, daddy is wrong the whole entire time, you know, but because of that family environment, because of how that goes, um, that's how daddy has done. So that's what I'm going to do what daddy has said to do. And then they end up marrying somebody who is just like daddy. So now husband does, and I'm going to do as husband do. So here you have a generation from her father, and now the new generation she has created with her husband of this. I don't have a mind for myself because I was never raised to believe that I can think for myself. I was never really encouraged to think for myself. I think there's a falsehood that's given to those daddy girls, and that they believe that they're independent women and I'm doing this thing for my life. But when you really look at it, it's like everything you've done is because of how your parents have raised you. Your daddy made you believe that you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to be this wife that's supposed to do everything her husband says, and it's just, I think it's just craziness. I think that you have some women who are influenced in a wrong way. um I'm a daddy's girl, and but my father, he he never raised me to believe that his way was always right. He raised me to believe that I have to find my own way. Now he had many great life lessons about business, and just how to conduct yourself, and they were good. But at the same time, he also told me that I have to have my own brain and my own thought, because that's the only way I was going to be a productive citizen and a productive person in this world. But there's so many women who think they're being productive because, oh, I vote. But you voted based upon what your daddy, your husband, your cousins, or whoever. You didn't vote based upon your own knowledge. So this is why we see that continuing trend of people winning elections, or, winning elections and being nominated, because they're able to have followers who are easily influenced by not truth, but just by, what's there. I'm always saying this. I think you've heard me say this before. We have got to be people to learn how to think for ourselves. We have got to be people to know how to 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 research and find the knowledge and find the truth. Don't go by social media. Oh gosh, social media. And I hate to just jump to something else,
No, it's cool.
but social media is like the greatest thing in the world. It is so amazing. It's great because it's a platform full of information. But the problem is, with all the good stuff, there's a whole lot of bad stuff. What social media does do is give instant gratification to information. It can be good and it can be bad. It can be great because it can get stuff there out there fast, things we need to know. But it can be bad because it can be a bunch of misinformation that people pick up and they run with it.
And others
And,
follow.
right?
Literally.
one of the one of the biggest trends that I've seen a lot on all those platforms, social media platforms, is the fact that um, you will find people put half stuff on there. And I know there was an issue, something about Joe Biden, and somebody clipped a video. In the video, I'm sorry, but is that too much noise? Can you hear the noise in the background?
No, you're fine. It's natural.
Okay, good. All right. Um, the the video was cut to where it only showed a view of Joe Biden making him look like this racist. So everyone's running around, and even black people running around going, look at this, he's racist, he's no. Okay, had you stopped and opened up that video, you would have noticed at the bottom that wasn't a full clip. And
Right.
the full clip would have showed you, and it would explain what and why Biden said what he said. But see, this is what happens when we are quick to just grab something we see and run with it without researching. We don't read. We don't seek knowledge ourselves. And when we don't do that, then we miss out on stuff, and then we become misinformed. And then we get to a point where we're in a position where, oh well, I don't like Trump, I don't like Biden, I'm not gonna vote. Well, not voting is putting Trump in office. Yes, we're back into that position where we have to vote the lesser of two evils.
Yes.
And quite honestly, when I vote on November 3rd, I am voting against Trump. So it's not about me voting for Biden, it's me voting against Trump. And to vote against Trump means to vote for Biden, because that's the only way that we can secure Trump being out of office. But because of the fact we have misinformation put out there on this great social media platform, and this is why we're dealing with situations where people are quick to judge and make harsh and bad decisions in life. So again, social media is awesome, it's amazing, but there is a level of responsibility that's missing there when people don't understand that sometimes on social media you're going to have to do a little more research, and yeah. that's social media.
That's the honest truth.
That's just, this whole week has been an issue. Well, this whole weekend and last week has been a bunch of issues and stuff that I've come across on social media where I'm sitting back going, why don't people read?
Right. We're lazy. We've been catered to, and it's all right there. Not all of it, but
no,
it looks tasty. So that's enough.
And it's bad when black people don't read. I think I was an undergrad, and it may have been like in I don't know if it was 1996. There was a professor of mine that said that there was a white author who wrote for, I think, the New York Times. No, it wasn't the Times. Gosh, I wish I could remember the source. Anyway, he wrote a piece, an article, and the article was very racist, extremely racist. But it proved a point that black people don't read. Because if you read sources of information, then you would see what people are saying. You're right. We're spoiled. Technology.
The people with power, they're not really making memes. Like you said, they're writing journals, writing articles.
Right. and I tell people all the time, I say, if you want to get the knowledge on things, if you want to know about what's going on, if you want to have an understanding about policy and about these people who are running for this, the Senate right now. And I was talking to my mom about this. I said, the reason why we could not get Trump out of office is because people don't vote. So you have a house full of racist, ignorant bastards who are in these positions that make the decisions. So to try to get him out of office, the Democrats are overpowered. So, everyone's saying, oh, Trump is doing this and Trump is allowed to do this. You know what? Blame your own self for that. Blame the people in your community, in your states who did not get out and vote. Because those senators who are in D.C. are the ones who we voted in there. So if you allowed somebody who wasn't a true representation of your community, that's your fault. Because if you didn't do your part to help promote voting or going into your communities and helping others to vote, then I'm sorry, you have to do your part. You have to help others. If you walk back to them, I ain't worried about it, that's not for me to worry with, fine. But I don't want to hear your mouth when you're complaining about something. Because you didn't do your part, It's our responsibility as citizens. It's our responsibility, as Black people. Because, dog it, Black people, back in the 70s, back in the 60s and 50s, they were a community. And they fought. They fought for civil rights. They fought for the rights of their brothers and sisters. And hell, they fought for us so that we can sit here right here now and have dialogues. And not have to worry about looking over our shoulder if someone is peeping on us.
Yeah.
So what is so hard for you to turn around and say, hey, you need a ride to the polls? Hey, you want some information? You unsure about something? Let me help you out. It's about service to others. I think ask people like, how do you know in your life when you've achieved greatness? Like at what point in your life have you achieved greatness? For me, is when I know I have serviced people, when I've been able to help others. And the best way actually to lose yourself and to kind of find yourself in life is in service to others. I think Mahatma Gandhi said that. If you truly want to find who you are and find yourself, when you lose yourself in service to others, that's how you truly find who you are. And when you do that, and and you're helping others, man, it's like this great feeling.
Yeah, you get energy from that.
Mm-hmm.
More energy to keep doing the good work.
Yeah, it's just like, and I know it's hard right now. I know COVID-19 is making everything difficult. It really, truly is making it difficult. But still, you got social media. It is your
Right.
platform.
And they all on it. They all on it.
Yeah.
You're right. So look, I want to dive a little deeper, and I just wanted to ask you because I've heard this, and I think it was part of another conversation I had with some guys. But just do you feel that Black men don't protect Black women as much as Black women do to go to bat for the Black man? Like, like I said, this is a conversation that's out there, and
Mm-hmm.
I got my feelings on it.
Yeah.
But it's the woman show, so I want to hear from you. How do you feel about that? Because there's a lot going on. Shout out to we gotta say Brianna's name and everybody. But, we still got a lot to battle.
We do. We do.
Mhm.
It's we're far from it being over.
Yeah.
I think that question. We can't make generalized statements because everybody's experience is different.
It's different.
So I honestly believe that if you were to kind of like um, take those men and those women who make those negative statements, women who believe that the black man is not protecting them, and then the black man who thinks that black women are not protecting them. If you look at their environments, if you look at their situations, I can guarantee you're looking at some situations where it's just like there are problems there, you know, on average. And I feel differently about that. You know, um, my whole entire life, I've always known and always been raised and seen nothing but a black man protecting a black woman. That's where I'm at. That's why I've had issues and have been uncomfortable dating outside my race. You know, because in my mind, in my eyesight, I don't think any man can protect me like a black man can. And I say all that only because that black man and I share the same battle. We share the same fight. And every day when we walk out the house, we get the same looks. But if I walked out the house with a white man, he's not going to understand that look I get. It's not going to be the same. So, for women to say that black men are not more protecting them, it's a kind of a loaded thing. Well, first of all, honey, he wasn't a man if he wasn't protecting you. You were dealing with a little boy. That's the fact.
Very true.
Because in the same, and vice versa. Black men who are involved with these females who, are just downgrading them or just being, not being women, well, that's the problem. You playing like a little girl. It's about maturities that we have as people. You have to be a mature adult. You have to know how to communicate. You have to be great in relationships on how to, in order for you to, to have good relationships. So all these men that talk about black women don't do it. Well, you're not dealing with black women. You're dealing with a little girl, or you're dealing with some female with some insecurity issues. And same thing. You're dealing with a man with it. I I know what you're talking about, and this has become a hot topic because I've seen it. I've seen it on Instagram, I've seen it on Twitter, and I've seen it on Facebook, and it makes my skin crawl.
But and I think because it's like, and this goes into the next set of questions. You got the role models and the media idols, and
Mm.
so you put all that with social media, and so you got a lot of media idols, social media idols.
Yeah.
They say things, they do things, and it's not real. It's
Yeah.
just like the numbers that we see on certain TV shows talking about, oh well, you know, this group of black people didn't do this or that, but it's like that's not real. It's all fabricated. If you come to real communities with real people, you're going to see
Mm.
something different, and that's going to change your mind. And so, I think a lot of that talk is us just being out of touch sometimes with what's really going on, what's
Mm.
really important.
Yeah.
Like I've had conversations about you know the idolization of these entertainers who are uneducated. Like that's not cool. you
Mm.
know whereas people should be, if they're going to look up to someone or try to pattern
Mm.
their path after someone, hopefully they are educated and can speak for themselves and have their own mind, and have some type of self-respect and independence versus someone who looks like they straight out the penitentiary. And
Right.
so that's the big battle.
It's a big battle, and I'm gonna bring it right back on around to education again because unfortunately, um, I guess we could say sometime around in the 80s, we had this whole big boom of teenage pregnancies. So, guess what happens? You got a bunch of young people having babies. They don't grow up, they're raising children. Just because they're raising children doesn't mean that they're growing up. Because more than likely, they're either living in a home where someone else is raising their child for them, or, it's something that's broken up where it's happening. So,
Hmm.
that parent of today has come from a home where their mothers and fathers weren't adults. So there's no one mature enough to raise them with these better morals, better thoughts, learning how to respect others more. It's just that's kind of lost, and you find it in these communities where you have children having children that you see the parent is gung ho crazy over some celebrity, and their whole life is based upon, well, I'm gonna be like this person. And I'm gonna tell you, I'll use, and I won't use names, but I'm gonna use the community I'm familiar with. These people are walking around living in the hood, but more concerned about their hair weaves, their eyelashes, their fingernails, what shoes they have on, but you don't have a car. You don't have a way to keep your clothes clean.
Right.
I've seen children come to school and they are filthy as I don't know what. But their mothers and their fathers are
Clean.
laid out. Clean, yeah, clean as I don't know what. You know, I'm asking about, money for the child wants to play in sports. I'm asking for $60 because we have the lowest fees in our district. And I even tell them, hey, you can pay me so much a month or whatever. It's $60. Oh, I don't have it. With a fresh full set of nails, hair braided, and that's not to say that as a parent that they don't deserve to have those things. But at what point are you going to give or sacrifice for your child? So this is why these children kind of get caught up into social media and to these bad people as someone they admire. You know, who was a young boy NBA? His community is my school's community.
Mm.
And so, I remember one day he came flying down the road in a yellow Lamborghini in front of the school during the middle of the daytime because he knew the kids would see him. It's, the kids look up to that because they don't have anything positive in their own lives to look up to. So here it goes back on to education. As educators, that's why it's important for us, while we have them, we have their attention to try to influence them as much as we can to kind of derail that pattern we're seeing now where you have all these artists that are like bad influences, but everyone's trying to, all these young kids are looking up to them. We have to try to find some kind of way to derail it. And I have a friend that said, well, it's just entertainment. I said, you know what, you're a grown man. Of course, it's entertainment to you. But to this child,
That's life.
yeah,
That's the goal.
yeah.
I want to be
So
like that.
when their parents, their goal, like most of their mamas talk about, they envy the women on the housewives of the men, and the fathers, it's like, and it's so typical sounding, but unfortunately, it's not a stereotype. It's something that I've witnessed ever since I've been in the school system with some of these parents.
Yeah.
So we have children who are lacking in their homes the good influences. They don't have good mentors. Um, they don't have the good positive that's there in their lives enough to let them see that no, it's not, that's not a reality for me. You know.
Right. But it's not even a balance, and that's the hard part because, you know, all these things have a place in our world. But like you said, from what they see and their experiences, there's
Mm-hmm.
no meeting. And so when they meet somebody like me, who not only just been a teacher, I've done some things, I've produced some albums and movies and things like that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
look like what they're normally accustomed to seeing.
Right.
Somebody who has that type of background. They're like, well, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing
Right.
wrong. And then we start sharing pictures and they start seeing houses and, different things or vacations and places, I've been. And they're like, wait, how do you do that? I'm like, well, you don't have to go buy $100,000 car.
Yeah.
That's you can spread that money out and it
Hmm.
make it work for you. Like that's an empty
Hmm.
purchase. And so that's where the education comes in at. But
Oh, yeah.
it takes so many more of us.
Yeah. It's funny you said it. It's so crazy. At my school, and my students, they don't think that I'm black, or they think that I'm mixed.
You
And I mean,
Latino.
huh?
You Latino.
Right. I get the Latino thing, and I get the whatever. And I'm to myself going, there are lots of women that are my complexion and lighter that are in your community, and you refer to them as being black. The thing is, I don't look like the
Wow.
women in the
You don't have
community.
the tattoos on your face, the
I'm
tattoo
not
eyebrows and all that.
right. I don't fall into what they are used to seeing. So,
Yeah.
and they automatically assume that, oh, well, Miss Eaglin, you're not even really black. And I'm like, oh, I'm black, all right. Trust and believe.
Right.
I am black. But, it's like you said, it's all about what they see. It's all about what what they've grown to know. I had a professor told me one time that, and all black people are familiar with this, especially many, many successful black people, code switching.
Yeah.
And the professor told me, she said, why should we have to code switch? Why can't we just be who we are? And I had to ask her, but I'm not that. I don't code switch. What you see is what you get. So if I come across as someone who is able to communicate across a whole diverse line, that's because that's what I am. So for you to want to throw out code switching, that's kind of wrong. I think you and I may have talked about this.
We have. We
Yeah,
have.
and this whole perception about how, um, you know, America needs to accept this look that black men have. And I'm like, first of all, black men I know don't look like what you calling black men. I don't call that black, And this whole third persona and this is this. White America didn't create that.
Right.
Black people did. You created something that quite honestly has scared not just white people, but it's scary to black people. And it can be, and a lot of blacks will probably give me the side eye or ready to tell me off or whatever. But honestly, there are a lot of people, a lot of black people who think that it is just not acceptable for young men to walk around with their pants hanging off their behinds and their underwear showing.
No,
You
it's
know,
not acceptable.
it's not. And it's just, you know, whatever culture, whatever you think is a cultural thing, great. But it is not acceptable for me to see your underwear. I don't want to see your drawers.
Right. I just
And
wanted to order a hamburger.
right.
So
And
I
you
mean,
you
that
gotta
that make me have second thoughts.
exactly, and you're right, because I'm not talking about on them being on the street. I'm talking about being in places of business. You in McDonald's, Burger King, or wherever, and that's the first thing I see behind. And I'm sitting myself going, first of all, you
Who
didn't
hired
pull
you?
at your pants. Yeah, you done pulled at your pants 3 times, and now you gonna make my burger? That's not clean.
Right.
So it's just, I think a lot of times black people need to understand, we create sometimes we create the ugliness that makes us unacceptable.
Yeah.
And it's not a cultural thing. That's just, it's like I said, it's an ugliness that we create, and now we want people to accept it when our own people don't want to accept it. You know?
A lot of that goes with education, though.
Hmm.
And this is why we're still working and pushing those doors to really give them the knowledge on just how to handle yourself, how to be a professional.
Right.
And I'll stick to that one, just being
Right.
professional.
And
And
it doesn't mean
it
that you're acting white.
nah, and it doesn't have anything to do with a dollar sign either. And
No.
that's a problem. It's just to be presentable,
Hmm.
um, you know, all the time.
And unfortunately, certain looks in the community, black communities are, if you sport it, they automatically think that you're not educated. They think that you can only play sports or you're trying to be a rapper. um you know but if you carry or wear that look that most athletes and most rappers carry, you can't get mad if the world does not want to accept you for being educated. you know it's I would love to be able to be in a place where we can just walk around and just be us and everybody accept us. We're not there yet. Hell, we're still trying to be able to be pulled over by the police and leave alive.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's a more important battle right now than us worrying about the fact that white America won't accept the fact that my thug look is not accepted by them. No, let's start taking responsibility for what we do in our own communities. You know, I hear people holler, God, Aubrey, that drives me nuts. Black on black crime. What about white on white crime? White people kill other white people. It happens. Asian people kill other Asian people. It's in every culture. But
Right.
Sometimes, and after the last couple of weeks, actually the last month, reading the news in Baton Rouge, I'm sitting back going, my brothers and sisters, you're not helping our battle right now. Y'all out there acting like fools, killing each other.
Right. We're doing the same thing we did last summer and the summer
Right.
before that.
Exactly.
And it's bad because they were actually counting on that. Like
Yeah.
that was a prediction. Like, okay, here we go.
Right.
School's been out. It's out again.
Right. And and I'm gonna tell you, black on black crime is not. It is not. It's not something that white folks can use because it's irrelevant. It really is irrelevant in this Black Lives Matter movement. It's totally irrelevant for you to holler about black on black. You can't sit here and try to compare the numbers of blacks to the numbers of whites. Okay? Because if you want to do some real comparison, all right, since you want to talk about how we all lazy on food stamps, honestly, it is more white people on food stamps and on the system, if you really want to talk about it. But it's just so easy for them to holler black on black crime because of the negativity that follows along us as being black people.
Yeah.
We have never had a fair shake on anything. And when people holler about, well, you holler about black power, blah, blah, blah. Of course we holler black power, because when have we ever been respected? When has anything that we've ever done as black people been respected by America? And the crazy thing is, we built this nation. We built this nation. We've created devices and inventions that you need to live by, and we still can't get respect. So when we holler Black Lives Matter or Black Power, damn it, because it does matter. And it is a power that our children need to recognize that we have. History books are written by white people. So they control the narrative. That's why you don't hear much talk about the native Indians.
Right.
And it's crazy.
It is crazy.
They're not going to talk about it because guess what? They killed the Native Americans. They raped their people. They gave them viruses, and they stole their land. So that's why they're not going to talk about it. You only hear one talk. What is the Trail of Tears? The Trail of Tears. That's the only thing you really hear in history about Indian people.
Right. And that happened. That happened way later.
Right.
So
but you, and then they want to cry about us having Black History Month. Hell, we shouldn't even have it. We need to be throughout history, because you can't have history without black people. Because we build your nation. We built that White House that man is sitting in right now, and all the white men prior to Barack Obama have said it. That house was built by our ancestors' hands. This nation has been developed by our ancestors, and we are not mentioned in that history book except when they want to talk about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. Like they were the only two people that did something in our nation. No,
We history would not exist without us. American history would not exist without us. So um, I think Aubrey, if our children had more understanding and more knowledge of who we are as a people, I think that kind of would help to see that they are people who are deserving of a chance, they're deserving of respect, that they do not have to turn to a life of crime or drugs or just illegal living.
Yeah.
Just they I think they lack that. Um, and I hate to keep running on, but I
No, it's all
saw
right.
there's a white lady, and she adopted this little black girl, her and her husband. Um, every morning, the little girl's like 3 years old now, I think. Every morning, when she's taking this little girl to school and she's combing her hair, she calls them morning affirmations with Addie. And every morning, this white lady is teaching this little black girl to be proud of her skin color, to be proud of her hair. So she tells her, she says, Addie, I love my curls. I love my brown skin. And it's just, if a white person can show this to a young black girl, we as black people need to do that to our boys and girls.
We got to.
We need to do that. And I think that's one of the things I love so much about being at Brookstown is the fact that I have a staff of teachers and I have a principal and other administrators that every day affirm in these children that they are important people. And as a community, that's what we have to do. And as educators, that's what we are. We're community activists, but we just do it through education.
Yes.
So, we just need to spend more time reminding our children. And it goes back to the whole thing about black women protecting black men. I praise black men every day. I do. Because he has a struggle to do so many things in this world while fighting all negative. I know that there are lots of women who are being killed by police. I've seen it. It's there. But our brothers are attacked so much more, and they are viciously being killed by racist white men. But the police are killing them. And every time, every black man I know, every day I pray for him because I know when he walks out that door, he may never come back home. And he doesn't have to be my husband or my brother or just every black man, you know. And as sisters, we have to continue to pray for our brothers, and we have to continue to fight for them when they're treated wrongly or mishandled or being killed. It's our job to stand up and stand for them. So I really and truly am sorry that there are black men who think that black women don't love them or care enough or are protecting them. Because there are, for every 10 that don't, there's 120 of us that do.
Yes.
You know?
Well,
So, yeah.
I can't speak for everybody, but I appreciate it. I
Thank
do.
you.
That's lovely. So look, that I'm trying not to keep it all about femininity, but you're a veteran.
Yes,
You were in the Navy, correct?
sir.
And so, I just always think, but you're a professional, and
Hmm.
so, that's just a great thing. And so, how you've been able just to just live your life and just navigate your professional life. But I do feel that, you know, in this time, and it's been, I think it maybe like a trend because, black men, it's not as many of us out here. And so, you know, the black woman has actually been promoted in such a way to be like, okay, well, we promote women and we're talking about corporate.
Hmm.
And, by you being black, you're a woman of color. So we promoting you. But I feel, and I've seen it, there's this glass ceiling to where, yeah, you know, um, corporate wants you to play on the team,
Yeah.
but you can only go so far.
Yeah.
And because, or if you're too smart, you know too much, you got too much experience, you're a threat to us.
Mm-hmm.
And that bothers me, you know. And so then I turn around and I'm looking at the reports on not only women being harassed in corporate settings, but harassment and other things taking place in the military. And so you've been on both sides, you know, being successful as a professional. How does, I don't know, how does that make you feel? Because I mean, it bothers me, you know, the young woman who, you know, died, and you know, I don't know her name, but you know, let's say she might have been harassed,
Mm-hmm.
but she was in the military, and we know that this happens. We hear about it a lot, and but you're on your journey, you know, trying to make a difference, trying to just be you, and you know, they invite you in, but then you did too much, you can't do enough, or you want to try to take advantage of you. Just unfair. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, first off, it's we all know that those corporations, they still fight with that battle of when they come in and say, oh, there's not enough color in this corporation. So you know, a lot of times we are, as women, we are put in positions to succeed to a level not to where our skills, our knowledge carry us, but to the level that satisfies that corporate's requirement. So that is why you will find that there are Black women who only, like you say, only go so high and they get stopped because there was never any intention for you to succeed. Never. It's one of the biggest things I used to hear about was that there was an argument between this Black guy and this Black girl, both professionals who I know, and they were trying to say who suffers the most, like who has the most challenges, you know.
Wow.
And I find it so funny. I'm like, hey, we're Black people, we all got challenges,
Right.
but my boy said, well, you know, I'm a Black man, and you know, Black and white America is a fear for me, and I got this many degrees, and they're still, you know, I can only get here, whatever. I'm gonna get here, but I can't get no higher because, you know, the white man won't let me succeed. And then my girl turned around. She said, really? She said, well, as a Black woman, I'm not only facing the challenges of being a woman, but a Black woman. And not only do I have to deal with the ego of the white man, I got to deal with the ego of the white woman. And it's true. And now, I didn't side with her to say that we suffer more, but I dealt with that. You know, I worked for a State Department, and this was before I got accepted into law school. And I worked for this white lady who was in a position only because her sister's best friend was the director of that department. And in order for this particular position, you had to have a bachelor's degree and years of managerial experience, of which she just got her little piece of paper a couple of months prior to her getting that position and had no years of experience as far as being the manager. But
Wow.
her best friend, you know, these are white people. You know, this is Louisiana. We know how that rolls here. So that's one thing. She had this position. Well, here I come, this Black girl with this all this education with a bachelor degree, and she's had this years of experience in public relations at LSU, and you know, and oh, she's military, so she's just this vet, and she just thought that I couldn't get any better position, so she took advantage of me in the position I had was underneath her. We got along fine. A couple of, not even 4 months of me working there, I got my acceptance letter for law school. I kept it quiet. I didn't want anybody to know. But there were lawyers working in that department, and so one of the girls over there, she knew about it. Well, it got out. I was going to law school. Well, little did I know, my supervisor was not only rejected to law school from LSU, but Southern had rejected her as well.
Oh wow.
So she couldn't get in anybody's law school, but the little black girl did. When I tell you, she was ugly to me, and she did everything she could to try to have me fight. Everything. Now, we've had 4 months of me being there. I've been there only 4 months, and we worked fine. Oh, and she was raving, I'm the greatest this, and I'm the greatest that, blah, 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 blah. But now, all of a sudden, now, I'm not this, I'm not that. Then she got to a point where she was starting to tell me that I had to work overtime. And I was like, I can't, because I was in the part-time evening program. I said, look, I can't work because I have class. Well, it's mandatory. So I looked at her, I said, okay, well, where's my overtime form so I can get my pay? She didn't think I was going to throw that on her because I know state law. I said, well, you telling me it's mandatory, so that means you have to pay me. And she was like, no, you're not getting any pay for this. Well, I said, well, then I won't be working. And then she said, I said, lady, I know my rights and I know the law. And if you want me to stay here, then I will stay. But that means I'm going to get paid my overtime. That was the biggest stink. It was written down that I was being non-compliant. And of course, because the best friend was the head, it was like, well, we don't feel that we need your service anymore. We're not going to fire you. We're going to just write this off. And see, they couldn't fire me because I had too much evidence and proof to show where, I was wrongfully terminated. So they just basically wrote the position as being expired. So that was the way of getting over it.
Wow. So
as a black woman, I understood what my girl was saying when she told her boy, not only do we deal with the egos of, because see, white men can't stand to see small black women. They can't stand it. I had one white guy call me a little gal one time. Oh, that Indian blood in me so much. I was to fight him. I was ready to fight. That Navy side of me was ready to come out. I wanted to fight him. But white men are intimidated by powerful black women. They're the ones that started that foolishness that got black men talking about all we do is run our mouth. There's nothing wrong with black women being assertive. That's what that aggression is. And if we're not assertive, if we don't have that aggression, then we can't fight for our people. So why are you going to try to silence that? And if a brother got a problem with it, then he needs to get strong enough to deal with it. I'm sorry, that's just the truth with it. And I've always said that any brother who can't handle my strength, then he's not meant for me. Go ahead and find a sister that can handle what your temperament is used to. But you're not going to stand here and try to call me out or say that I'm impossible. No, I'm not impossible to be with. You just don't understand. But it's that white man who has started that foolishness, that we run our mouths, we do this and that. If you know your history, you understand why black women are the way we are. Exactly. And you would respect that, and you would be proud of it. And you'd be a fool to try to shut us down from it. So yeah, but we fight with the egotistical white man, and then we fight with the jealous white woman who has always been jealous of black women. Why do you think they do so much now to try to look like us? They suntanning. Now they wearing wigs and hair weaves to make their hair look curly. I'm natural, so I normally wear my hair natural, but I'm a little silk press. But I had a white lady one time. It's matter of white women all the time when I wear my hair natural. The first thing they say is, "Oh my God, I wish my hair could be curly like that." Honey. So when right. So as
Not
black
ready.
women, right? As black women, I will never try to discount my brother's fight and struggle in corporate America. I will never discount that. And it's not for us to try to compare the two of who deals with more. We
Right.
need to respect that so
Right.
that way at the end of the day we could be each other's peace.
That's it.
Because you know what I'm saying?
And so, that's why I'll tell anybody, I'm like, you got to show love and respect,
Mm-hmm.
because y'all taking a hit for us,
Right.
and so it's real. It's real.
Mm-hmm.
And if you win, then I won. And so we got to celebrate. It's not
Yeah.
we can't look at it like a threat. Like,
No.
you know, it's a happy time if you all win.
If we're a team, you
Exactly.
know, and I think if black people, we together would be realize that hey, we are a team. You know, we need to stop shutting each other down or going through this thing where we, oh, I'm better than her, or I'm better than him. We got to stop that. That is
Right.
how white people were able to continue to enslave us. They did it by making us do it with our own hands. They took this group of blacks, and then they took this group of blacks. But see, that stuff actually started back in slavery time. From the house nigga and the field nigga. That's how that all started.
Right.
That's how colorism was introduced, and that's why we still fight with that. That's the whole nother thing there too, colorism.
Education.
Hmm. But that's where it started. So here it is now. They took and okay, we take this group of blacks and we give them all of this and help them go up here, and then we leave these behind. If we let these blacks right here believe they like us, then they're gonna go forth and they're gonna leave them behind. And that's kind of how it kind of started. It's like now you got these black folks who don't care about these black folks. Instead, they want to throw in their face, well, you need to get like me. I got out. But you got out some way or another by somebody's help. So when you going to come back and help your brother? Instead, you rather kick him down. You rather, and you don't have to go move back in the community. You don't. But make your presence known. Help.
Exactly.
Educate them. That's what I mean when I say help. People think I mean financially. No, I mean educate them. Show them. Let them know about the programs that are there that they don't know about because no one informs them about it. You'd be amazed the number of people who are not informed.
Don't know.
Yeah, because no one tells them the opportunities that exist out there that are free.
Exactly.
So it's
That's
our job.
that's important.
Right.
That's so important. Resources that are available that are not being used. If they don't get used, then they get taken away or stopped.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's tons of federal money out there that is available. There are so many grants that single mothers can go back to school on. And there are things for young people who can't afford college. There's so much out there, and not just college, trade schools. And this other misconception, we always want to throw on the children, you got to go to college. Do they want to go to college? Or do they want to be in a profession that requires them? Maybe they want to be a welder. Maybe they want to be a hairdresser. There's so many different things that they can do, and there's trade schools for them that they don't have to go to college. But there's also programs that they can go through, and it's not going to cost them the money to do it.
No money.
It's our job to be those people to give that knowledge to the black communities. We may not live in them, but I live in Prairieville. I don't live in East Baton Rouge, but my heart is there.
Definitely.
Because I know the people who need help there. So, if I find out stuff, we have a church member, Dina. Dina has a great program.
Oh, Family Road.
Family Road program.
Conversation today.
Yes. It's a great program. So Dina was able to give me some information that I was able to give to the people in my community in my school.
The parents.
This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what our job is. This is what we're supposed to do as black people. This is how we uplift each other. This is how we break the bonds of slavery. Somebody used to get mad at me because I wouldn't celebrate Juneteenth. Why you don't want to? We still enslaved. Y'all may be talking about
Right.
we still enslaved.
It's not over.
Yeah. We have so many battles that we got going on today, especially in 2020, from fighting with COVID, and then from fighting with education, the lack of education, dealing with the injustices that are there. We have all these different things we're fighting, but we're not together as a people. We need to become stronger to fight these battles. The information that needs to be put out in regards to COVID-19. There's so many black people, and I'm laughing because I'm laughing to keep from getting angry.
Yeah.
There are so many black people who are walking around and saying, "You're gonna get it eventually one day, so I don't care." So they're in their communities with no masks. They're having parties and barbecues and all kind of celebrations. And pregnant women are having gender reveals, and they're pregnant and risking themselves. Why?
Stop.
And then you're the first people, black people are saying, medically, we are not treated fairly. Okay, you know this? You know about the disparities in health? Then why, as you as a black person, would you put yourself in a position to take a virus that you know they're not going to help you get over? Why would you do this? You know that you will not be treated fairly as far as health goes. We have black women, pregnant black women dying, from being medically treated wrong. Their pregnancies are not being treated in the best ways. So they're dying, having babies and dying. Why? They shouldn't. It's 2020. We are too far in medical technology for a woman to die on the table after having a baby. Disparities in health. But COVID-19 is a silent killer. As a black person, they're not going to look out for you. They may turn you away from the hospital. But you out there having a good time with no mask on, and you at everybody's house, and you having parties, talking about tomorrow with my cousin, graduation, whatever. What do you think? Coronavirus is going to skip over? It's a family party. There's no discrimination with COVID-19. It don't care who you are. It is going to hurt you. You may be blessed enough that it passes on you, but for the most part, so many people are dying from this virus. And if you're a black person and you know about the disparities in health, why are you out here not being mindful of your own health and taking risks with this virus?
Yeah.
See, this is the things that we have to educate our community on. My parents were coming up. I've been at work since April, because that's what we do. It's coronavirus, but executive secretaries, we're at work. Because we have to deal with our parents. We have to be there for them to, because they all have questions, so we have to be there for them. But anyway, I've had parents come up and they have no mask on. This was before the mandate. This was before the city mandate, before the state mandate. And I looked at them and I said, "Well, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. You're not coming in my building. You have no mask on." And I have to educate them. One person, well, guess what? My one person, I've given them information. Now they're going to go back and tell somebody else. Sometimes just giving a little bit of information can go a long way. Because we have black people that are still walking around thinking that they can't get coronavirus. Because when it first started, back in, I think this was in March or February, they were saying black people don't get coronavirus. That is a lie.
Right.
They have black folks that still believe that, and they got black folks that just don't think that, I'm not gonna get it. I can't get it. My immune system's strong. I don't care. And let me tell you, I understand that, they keep saying people who have prior health conditions. I don't care if you are healthy as I don't know what. You can die too. Because it's been seen. There have been many people who have gotten this virus who have had no kind of health conditions, and they've died. So this virus needs to be looked at what it is. It is something
Right.
that can affect you and could possibly kill you. So, our black communities are not being looked after. We need to find more ways to get more masks to them, or hand sanitizers, teaching them about proper hand washing. Just those simple things, because the mask alone is not going to do it. But we need to teach them. We need to tell them, and especially since we know that the health system doesn't care about it.
So sad.
It is. It is.
Wow. So I tell you what, you've dropped so many jewels of knowledge on us tonight, and I knew it was coming. You know, is there anything you want before we leave? Is there anything you want to tell everyone about that you have coming up? We always try to get everybody to plug their endeavors. I mean, I got a feeling you have some type of show that's going to happen, and so hopefully I can be a guest
Yes,
of
I
some
would love.
sort. I'm cool with that.
Well, you have just as much
People need to
knowledge.
hear you.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah.
You
So
have just as much knowledge too. So if I do ever have a show, you would most definitely be on there.
I appreciate that.
Definitely.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah. I mean, I actually, I don't have anything set in stone right now, but I am building. Um, I'm trying to build on on every social media platform. I'm trying to build. I do things on Facebook. I post things here and there. Instagram, I may post something. Let me tell you right now, Instagram is kind of like my little private account. I don't really do much on that. Twitter, every once in a while, I put stuff, but I have gotten into something that is driving my daughter nuts right now. I've gotten into TikTok. So,
TikTok.
yeah,
I thought of a challenge too.
you did.
Like since we talk about music sometimes, I have to give you a song
Okay.
because I think our music qualifies since we streaming everywhere. Like I think it could do something.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to pick out a song, verse, and so you got to do something with that.
I got it.
Something from the plug. Then it's gonna be hot though.
All
Like
right, that I'm down
you
for
got
it.
that Wu Tang background, so
I love Wu Tang.
yeah. See, that's why we like you. You know what I'm saying? You're knowledgeable all around.
I am straight up old school hip hop, and my daughter will tell everybody, don't play that new stuff from mama, cause she she don't like that, and I secretly love Cardi B. Okay, that's like
You know what? And I don't think we said this on the show, but Cardi is like the only reality star who had aspirations to be big, and she really she did it. She did what everybody else wanted to do,
and
so
she did it
she got it.
being true to herself. You know, I cannot stand that show, Love and Hip Hop. I've never watched it. I've only seen the snippets that come on, that people post, and that's kind of how I got to, know about Cardi B. And she'll tell you right back, I'm a stripper. I was a stripper. But just like every stripper who you may know or have come across, they all got some kind of set dream or goal, and their goal is to have to no longer have to strip and get to where it's at. And she's that stripper that did that,
She did it. Yeah.
And you may not agree with the things she say, how she does them, how she perform. Hey, that's your prerogative. My thing that I have about her is she's done stuff, and she's done it unapologetic. Yes, she's done it. There you go. But she's done it without lying to herself. She's been honest to herself, and I think that's one of the things that we do, that we need to teach our children, is how to be truthful to who we are. And when you're truthful to yourself, it goes to how you learn to understand yourself and know who you are. That's part of your development or growing or whatever. But Cardi B, she accepted who she was. She did what she needed to do, and now she's out there. And you know what I like about her? She's never been afraid to speak on politics or issues that are facing America. And she does it in a way, of course, that is not um, what the conservative black folks would say, oh my gosh. But she's done it in a media mainstream way. She's done it in a way to where young people are listening to her. You know, I
Yeah.
think Bernie Sanders ended up picking up a great following of young black people because of Cardi. So, yeah, you know, I
She
think
knows she has power, and she's really using it to be
go.
constructive and a force to be dealt with. So it's cool.
There you go. You know, and that's just what it is. When you know that you have a platform and you know you can influence and you use it in a good way, I think that's amazing. And I think that and more celebrities need to do it, but I think more black people need to do it. You know,
Definitely.
just because you think that you're not famous, someone's still looking. There's
Yeah.
always somebody watching you.
You know, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is to be seen, you got to be with the corporation, or all those big having those big monetary contributions. But what they forget is when you get that, then they control you.
Exactly.
And so that's why I just love what we're doing, because people need this. I really hope people watch the whole thing all the way through, so they won't so they'll understand what we're saying. We're not
Right.
bashing nobody, but
No,
speak the truth. It's
never.
all good, but you gotta get through the whole thing to get to the dessert.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. And I hope people know that this
Yeah.
is not my goal to bash anyone.
Not at all.
My goal is to enlighten people, because at the end of the day, what you find is your knowledge of what makes you. It may be different from what I am, but the important thing is you gain that understanding, and that you're doing something of purpose for yourself and for your family, and for those who are affected by your actions. So, I will say the one thing out: you better go vote. If you're 18 and you're not registered to vote, you better go vote.
You better go
And
vote.
vote. It's a life or death thing, literally, because our people died for that. They died for that.
That's it. That's it. If it's no other factor,
No.
that right there.
And then you have John Lewis died. He lost his battle to his cancer, but he was beaten across a bridge to fighting for our rights, our civil rights to vote. And for you to not go vote in our ancestors, because he's now one of our ancestors now, they lost blood for you to vote. And for you not to do it, you are doing a disgrace to our people.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless. I'm like, but I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main reasons why we had you on at this time is because I know there's a lot of people who feel like you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a lot of times we have to step outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And like, it feels good to hear someone maybe speak on our behalf, or to say something that we might have been thinking the whole time. We just couldn't, say it so eloquently as you did. And so, for that reason, thank you, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. We gotta, keep each other not only in prayer, but just good hopes, so we can get through not only this school year, but just day by day. And so, we're gonna keep you in the circle.
Well, please do.
We're gonna look for you on the social media.
Please do. I'm here, and I'm that person that's never afraid to speak her mind. And if you get offended for it, hey, call me. We'll have a conversation so you can understand why you got offended. So
Yes, it's not beef. It's just dialogue. That's
all it is. Exactly.
Well, we'll tell the people, keep subscribing. Plugged in is everywhere, so go out and get it. We got information on the screen, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.